These times, don't let me forget. I'll make a note. I know. Yeah. Yep.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all.
Sure. Fritz. Fritz, Tanya, here. Libby, here. Becky, here. Ryan.
Here.
Turn my mic on.
Can I get a motion to approve April 3rd's minutes?
I make a motion to approve April 3rd's minutes as written.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? The ayes have it. Can I get a motion to approve April 17th
Make a motion
minutes?
to approve April 17th minutes as written.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. All righty. We're gonna move. I'll give my pin there. Down to here, council to consider CF1 tax abatement compliance for Taxman, Brewing, Debo, Cook Properties, and Thursday's Pool. Adam?
All right, good evening. If you recall, every year at about this time, council is required by the state, the Department of Local Government Finance, DLGF, to basically review the tax abatements that are active and on the books for the town. And essentially what you're asked to do on a yearly basis is to make sure that what they promised originally on what's called their SB1 form, basically their estimates for the amount of jobs that they would create, the amount of wages that they would create, are that they're on track for that and that they're in good keeping. And so you have the ability to continue those tax abatements, or you can request additional information, at which time I think a separate hearing is called for, or you can terminate the tax abatement. I think maybe a hearing might be necessary to do that as well. I'm not sure. Alex can always chime in on that, but that's basically an overview of it. So in our case here in the town, we have 3 active tax abatements. The first one we'll go through quickly is Debo Cook Properties. This one we might be jumping the gun on it a bit, but just to ensure that if they are required to have a CF1 completed, that it is completed. So this was the project, if you recall, on 1000 North, the new industrial park that's out there. They were granted a tax abatement for 2 new buildings, not the existing one that's out there, but 2 new ones. And coincidentally, one of the buildings we just issued the permit for today after a lengthy review. And the second one has not been submitted yet, either for a site plan or really any sort of review. But just to make sure that for both those projects, and really especially the building that'll be under construction right now, if they are able to take advantage of the tax abatement for 23, pay 2024, that they can do that. So it's really just on the conservative side, and there's really not much, there's nothing to report on those projects, because the building is a speculative shell building at this point. So there is Mr. Cook is on the Zoom call if you have any questions, but with that, for Debo, I can address those. Any questions on that one?
No, Alex, oh, sorry.
So do we need to do it or not do it?
I would go ahead and do it anyway, just in case they are, again, in case they are eligible for the tax abatement when the taxes go into effect. I'm not sure that they will be or not, but
That's if the
based
building
at the
gets up
advice,
this year, right?
yeah, it was based on the advice of the county auditor. Just go ahead and get it done if you're inclined, of course. So any questions on that one?
Adam, do the, sorry to jump in and
No,
ask a
no,
question,
no.
but do the plans that you've seen look to match up with the proposed infrastructure the amount of investment that they had on their SB1? Because there's the
Yes.
wages, the jobs, and then also the proposed development that they're going to invest, right? So it kind of looks in
Yes.
line.
Yes, and luckily, it's the same developer that had proposed the project originally. It really wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things, maybe last year or so. The plans that they've shown are consistent with what they showed the redevelopment commission and showed you all. The site plan had to be approved and was by the plan commission, so everything's moving as planned and as anticipated for that first building.
You have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the CF1 tax abatement compliance for Debo Cook Properties.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Okay, the next one we'll take a look at is for Taxman. So this tax abatement was originally contemplated in 2016. It's still ongoing. They had two different buildings, if you'll recall. So they have two separate forms, I believe, here. One's for one building, one's for the other, or they may have been consolidated onto one. But in any event, for example, for their salaries on the SB1, they have projected $600,000 in wages with 30 employees. Today, they have less employees at 16, but the salaries are over 710,000. So if you have any questions on that one.
When does this one mature? Because they've had this for a while, haven't they?
Yeah,
That's
that's a great question. Got it right here. Hold on 1 second. So according to the county auditor, Taxman Properties started 2018 taxes paid 2019. And that's resulted in a total savings so far of about $49,600 for them.
Okay.
And they are in,
5 years.
see what year they're in here.
Okay.
6 of 10. By the way, these are all the standard 10-year tax
Okay.
abatements with the abatement gradually getting lower as you get towards the 10-year mark. So each
Right.
year it gets sequentially lower. So that's it for
Thank you.
Taxman.
You want to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the CF1 tax abatement compliance for Taxman Properties LLC.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? The ayes have it. Thank you. Now this is commercial industry.
Okay, and then the last one that you've got is for Commerce Industries, doing business as Thursday Pools. And they basically have 4 abatements. So one was for the original building back in 2014. And the second one was for when the building was added onto. And then there are also personal property that is also being abated as part of that. So those are the other 2. So if you have any questions on that, I'm more than happy to try to address those, and Mr. Camus, the owner, is here as well.
Yeah, I'm good, Alan. Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the CF1 tax abatement compliance for Commerce Industries LLC, Thursday Pools LLC.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, we don't have any old business. That got tabled. So let's go, department, reports. Joe.
Yeah, I don't have much for this evening. I will let you know that the new water treatment plant is still moving along. They're starting to receive all the salt and chemicals, chlorine and all the other stuff to get that plant up and running. Dave says on the 15th and 16th, they're going to be doing some training. So it should be up and running roughly 2 weeks from now, I hope. So that's kind of encouraging. We're excited to get that up and going. And the other thing is just some of the Broadway project out there. I know NDOT's got a little bit of a obstacle course going out there. We've got several other signs ordered in-house as far as the town goes, and we're going to try to sign some of the local streets and try to help ease some of that congestion and try to help people get around a little bit easier. And then we've got a meeting set up with the chamber, one of the members of the Chamber of Commerce and NDOT. It'll be not this week, but the following week, to work with them to try to help figure out how to get people to the local businesses like Main Street and Broadway and the businesses that are kind of restricted by some of the traffic to kind of help keep them up and running during this construction. So that's really about all I've got for this evening.
Were you able to get one of them to confirm trying to come and see us once a month?
I asked them to come tonight and everybody had other things going on. I asked them about coming to the next meeting and it got real quiet. I haven't heard anything from anybody. So I'm gonna keep on to them. So if I can get somebody here for the next meeting, I'm gonna
Just
do my
once a
best.
month, maybe just come in and tell us what's going on, where they're at.
I think it'd be a great idea. I
Yeah.
think it's part of what they're saying that they want to do as well is to try to come to some public meetings or have some public meetings periodically. So we've already got a meeting, so if they can just show up, I think see if we can talk them into doing that.
That'd be great.
This week we had a lot of people requesting stop signs be added. We thought about doing more of that on some of the streets.
Not stop signs. We'll put up maybe some weight limits that we can put out there. I know Tanya and I had talked about possibly some temporary speed bumps that could go out there and some detour signs and just, slow down and just different traffic calming, whatever we can do. I mean, it is so hard we can't get in the car and tell people to slow down or go a different direction. I mean, it doesn't matter. You put barricades up to drive around them and they're doing that.
Right.
So, yeah, typically we don't put a regulated sign such as a stop sign because that's one of those things that takes for people to get used to. And then when you take it down after the fact, then it ends up being another problem because people are expecting them to stop and they don't.
Have we ordered the speed
We're
bumps?
just looking at them. I looked down today and Joe's been looking at them too, so.
Okay. How much are they a piece?
And I mean, I'm not thinking there's a wide range, but
There's a wide range and they're not real expensive per section, but when you put enough sections together to cross the road, depending on how many we get, it could be a little salty, but
I don't
it'd be
think we need
worth
a
it.
whole lot, I
Yeah.
kind of looked at it and I think
Would that
that's
inhibit
some-
emergency vehicles going down those roads at all or
Yeah.
anything like that? No? Speed bumps?
They're only
Shouldn't.
2 inch or 2 inch.
Okay.
But just enough to slow somebody down so they look, people aren't looking and they obviously aren't looking at the stop sign because that's, they're just blowing through them. So what's slowing down makes you look. So hopefully that would be enough to. A couple bumps on the speed bump might slow somebody down. It'd get my attention, I guess.
We have them use the microphone. People that watch can't hear if the crowd talk.
Am I mumbling?
Not
No.
you, not just you. And when I know they all want to talk about this. Can you just use
Oh.
the microphone? Okay.
Oh, you got a question? Go ahead.
Can't hear, that's what I'm just trying to say. If you can use the microphone. What that?
So just to repeat, just in case somebody on the line does not hear, she asked if NDOT would cover the cost for those speed bumps or signs. I've asked them in the conversations that we've had today between them and the contractor, if they had any used ones laying around that we could borrow and then maybe give back after the project's over. I'm still waiting to hear back.
Thank
That's
you.
probably no. We'll take that as a no.
Any other questions for Joe? Thank you. Patrick,
So speaking of that, we've had 8 accidents in town since last Monday. And like you guys have said, people don't follow the signs, they don't read the signs. Our officers are out stopping cars, driving through barricades every night. We're doing the best we can to try to keep people from causing more accidents. But that being said, there was 2 today. So we're doing what we can do to try to get people regulated to the right directions.
Was that in the same place, two in the same place?
No,
Just
there was
different
one,
place.
yeah, a couple different places today, but 8 since last Monday, which is normally we'll get 1 or 2 a week, if that. But 8 in a week is really, really high.
Yeah.
So,
Could I get you to share those with me when you get those calls or those? Because I know the contractor's trying to track some of that, and anytime there's an
Yeah.
accident, he wants me to send information, so.
sure.
I
Yeah,
only
can
had
do
2 to send, so if you have 8, that,
that. You want to get the eyes, don't you?
I haven't gotten any
Oh,
on any of these projects,
okay.
that they're sporadic.
Yeah, yep, we can do that. And then the conference last week was good. I don't know if anybody follows our Facebook page, but I was fortunate enough to meet several American heroes, the youngest Medal of Honor winner, the gentleman that killed Osama bin Laden, and then another gentleman from SEAL Team 2. They all spoke along with multiple other conference instructors and attendees. So it was well worth the time and the effort and the money we spent to go down there to learn about some leadership traits and some things that some people are doing all over the country for law enforcement to help with some of these types of things. So that's all I got, unless you got questions for me.
So do you have an opinion? Speed bumps or do you have?
You know, speed bumps, they'll slow them down temporarily, then people feel like they need to speed up afterwards to make up that lost
Makes them,
a second of time.
it makes them mad.
It makes them mad. As far as law enforcement or fire or ambulance, we'll get through wherever we have to get through. We know more of the alleys and a ways around than anybody else. But if it helps and we can get people going the right way at the right speed would be great. But you can put up 1 million signs and half the people don't read them anyway. So,
Well, actually, the more signs you put up, the less people even start reading. some of
Yep.
it, so.
yeah.
I think that's what's happening with no left turn, because it's sitting there with the road closed and maybe they just can't. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not an engineer, but when I go down Broadway, I mean to cut you off. I mean,
All good.
I think the way that they got the road blocked off is confusing because there's just so many barrels out there.
Yeah.
You don't know where the gaps are, where you're supposed to turn, where you can't turn. I like the solid barriers if you're gonna do it and then leave it open at the intersection, so people know where you can't go and where you should go. But the way I understand, if they put those solid barriers in, then they have to put those, and I can't remember what they're called, they have initials that they use, but they're long, the metal, if somebody hits them where they can crush without hurting.
Okay, yeah.
So that gets really time and cost expensive, time consuming. So they chose not to do that, but I'm hoping that they do a little more than just a barrel, so it makes it more obvious where the road is blocked. Sorry, I jumped in.
No, it's all good. All the same
So-
river we're drowning in right now, Colonel.
Office for stopping people if they're driving down the side of the highway that's supposed to be closed,
Yes,
that they could do that.
yes,
Well, I was
we
impressed
have,
last Wednesday, I saw your officer have like 5 people stopped on.
yes. They're proactively trying to patrol the best we can. We're trying to stay proactive and not reactive. And, you know, the more visibility we have out there, the less people will think about doing the wrong thing. So
They were doing a great job that night. I mean, within an hour, I saw them with 4 people stopped.
are we all going the wrong way or playing barricade bumpers?
3. I guess
Oh,
they
yeah.
were speeding.
Yeah,
probably.
speeding and stop signs, we've gotten complaints there and I've told them to be up there and make sure that they get
They're doing a
the
good job. I'm
proactive
thrilled.
controls up there. Well,
He's not here. You got anything for us from Heath?
No, other than the fact that he's out of town and traveling back. That's part of the reason why we had moved the meeting with the Optimist tomorrow, so he could be here. I thought it was pretty important for him to be here for that.
Okay. Adam?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention quickly, I know there are some residents in the audience that are probably curious about the pole barn or garage in Old Bridge. If you recall at our previous meeting back on April 17th, some members of the public had asked what the town was going to do about the structure that's been sitting out there for about 8 months. And I had said that we would send a letter following day, and we did. On April 18th, I sent him a letter saying that there appeared to be 3 ways to resolve the situation. By May 18th, we requested that he either applies for a demolition permit and has a structure removed by May 18th. Or B, apply for a building permit to be in compliance with the zoning ordinance, or C, file for a variance and seek approval from the Board of Zoning Appeals for the type of structure that you would like to construct. I did hear from Mr. Burgess's attorney, who said that it seemed like they were leaning in the direction of filing a variance. He had some questions about that procedure. I returned his call. He didn't call me back. So, but nothing's been filed just yet. So that's where we're at with the project. One of those 3 things would have to be completed by May 18th. And then we stated, as we do with all of our code enforcement measures, that failure to comply may result in a monetary fine and possible legal action. We always reserve that right. So if there's any questions on that particular case, be more than happy to address them. Yeah, sure. All right. If you wanted to come to the microphone.
Sorry, it's just really hard to hear when you're trying to view it on the
Yeah.
online.
Misty,
Sorry.
can you see if that red button's?
I turned it on.
That's great.
My question was just, if you could explain the difference between option 2 and 3. I got 3, but I didn't get 2.
Sure. He still has the ability to submit for a building permit if they're able to meet all of the town standards, and they would obviously have to adjust the building from how it stands today, because it is not in conformance with town standards. So I think the likelihood of that is low, because they'd have to physically alter the structure, they have to move it. Yeah, they have to bring it down, probably be smaller, whatever those new rules were that took effect. So again, likelihood is low, but they still have the ability to do that. So that would be the difference between that and the variance.
So if he chooses to apply for the variance, that goes back through your department?
It does initially to process the application and to disperse the public notice to the residents, but the decision is made by the Board of Zoning Appeals. So we've already said that in order to keep everybody in the loop in that neighborhood, that we as staff would require Mr. Burgess to notify everybody in that neighborhood, even though that goes above and beyond the mailing requirements. So everybody in that neighborhood, if he decides to get a variance, will get a notice in the mail that would explain exactly what he's looking to do, when the meeting would be, and how you can comment on it or attend the meeting.
Okay. So, and you said then that after May 18th, he could be charged a penalty, not that he will be, or
We reserve that right, correct?
what determines whether or not you do it?
If he doesn't do anything.
You reserve the right to do that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, how do you decide whether or not you do charge that
He
penalty?
has to do one of those three things.
He has to do
before
one
the
of,
18th.
he has to do one of those three things by May 18th.
Okay,
It's
it's just the wording because it says then you may be able to do that. And that kind of leaves an open.
Well, the reason that, and it's not unique to this property, we say that to any property owner across town, that we basically reserve the rights to use the abilities that we have. Certainly, any circumstance can come up. We don't know what's going to happen by May 18th. That's why we gave him some time. And basically on May 19th, we'll assess where we are and take proper measures.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any questions for Adam? No. Missy.
The only thing I have is in April, we received a settlement from Monsanto. It's a class action lawsuit. And it was a little over 17,000. It's going into our MS4 fund. And good news, money we didn't know we were getting.
That's always good news.
Yeah.
Alex, you have anything for us?
I don't, unless you have questions for me.
Public comment. Anybody want to come up for public comment? No? Okay. Town council comments.
I don't have anything.
I think I said all I need to say.
Okay. Ryan,
Nothing to that.
Becky? I don't have anything either. Can I get a motion to approve and sign vouchers?
Make a motion to approve and sign vouchers.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Ayes have it. Thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn at 7:26.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? The ayes have it. Thank you. Well.
It was